Hold on a second. We're planning dinner. Okay, people, welcome back to another Fwoosh Weekly. As always, I'm Robo, and time to get off your butts, toy companies. Break time is over. And I know I start almost every weekly the same way. Oh, there's a lot of toys to talk about. Oh, there's not a lot of toys to talk about. And I've probably talked about talking about that before. There's been a lot of weeklies. But I always feel like I need to prepare you before we get into it. You know, give you a little glimpse of how long you're going to be sitting here, even though it probably says how long the video is somewhere around here. I do it for you, for your benefit. Let's just talk about damn toys. Starting things off with a few teases, do you remember the Fury Toys, what's it called? Samurai Turtles Spring Assassin. It doesn't roll off the tongue as nicely as definitely not Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That went up for pre-order last November along with some nice pictures of an upcoming Turtle Hacker Boy and the promises of fall and winter, since the techie one would be summer. But recently they started teasing an anthropomorphic alligator that skews a little further away from a cease and desist. I mean, come on, it's just a kick-ass looking upright gator wearing jeans. You could use this anywhere in the display. Oh, well, I guess if you had the hat and the vest and the shotgun and the knife, it could be confused as a realistic Leatherhead. That's on you. You see it, right? That's definitely not Leatherhead. No release info yet. Hopefully we'll see something soon. Another tease is from some company called Fwoosh Toys showing off a 1/12 scale articulated skeleton. The picture comes with a pair of different heads, some different weapons in each of the hands, leading one to assume that there may be options, you know, when it comes to noggins and blades. Also, I can almost guarantee that the joints will match the bones on the final product. They said this was just a sample, which means it's just printed out with joints stuck in. Just a tease for now. I've been told that we can look forward to more closer to release, which is looking like the back end of 2022. You know Todd didn't slow down this week. He's showing off even more new DC Multiverse figures. I'm not familiar with the Future State designs, but this look has a very comfortable feel to it. Maybe it's the years and years and years and years of Bat variants in the comics, in toys. It's numbed my brain and I just accept anything with a Bat logo on the chest and ears on the cowl. But seriously, this doesn't stray too far from the basic design. Just a covered mouth, some added seams and padding, and then an exposed undersuit around the crotchal region, upper legs, to give it the look of underwear on the outside without actually being underwear on the outside. Dark Detective strays further, but I still like it, even with the cobbled together look. Seems very realistic until you start looking at it and realize that this probably still costs $1 million or so in, you know, Batland. Also, McFarlane, you sneaky devil. Are those thigh swivels I spy? $20 a pop, due in March. Then, just this morning at Target, a Wild Planet X Batman appeared. I'm gonna tell you this, and it may sound out of left field. Those of you who know because I've mentioned this before, but oh man, the Batman of Buren R is one of my favorite Batman designs. I've never read a story with it in it. It's just the look, the colors. Honestly, my DC UC figures are all in tubs. Well, 98% are in tubs, but under my desk, I still keep this. Just because. Pre-ordered, although it is Target, so fingers crossed they don't target it up. Target also posted up the DC Multiverse Superman of Earth 3 with Build a Starro. Personally, I'm not interested in Ultraman, but that Starro looks amazing. It's yet another example of, oh, it's a big, wacky character that I can use anywhere, put in any scale, all my DC figures. That's how they get you. Target exclusive, and seems to be the same sort of rollout that we saw with Batman Beyond last year. They only solicit one figure at a time, and then several months later there's another, and then months later there's another. They do specifically call this the Crime Syndicate Build-A-Line, and if you take the back of the box and enhance. The silhouettes seem to be one female and two males with dates of April, July, and November. And look how cute it is. Links to the Target pages are in the description. Something that popped up just now. I mean, I'm recording and my phone's like, hey, there's new toys, come look. So I definitely haven't had enough time to sit and look at the pictures and ponder, and what's this and what's that and that's extra and this. So let's take this journey together. Here is the Mezco 1/12 Collective Rumble Society Nautilus Crew Builder set. Looks like there's, well, the first picture you look at, it appears to be 4 figures, but I think it's actually 2 bodies, 4 heads. options. Poses, different looks. Oh, you can add a scarf and a hat. Change it up even more. Make it into a cape, kinda. This is so unprofessional. I apologize, but that's how it works today. Oh, that makes sense. The Nautilus thing. I think Captain Nemo recently came out, and I'm hearing good things, so why not add to that crew? Create Nemo's Techno-Pirate crew. Some swords, some swashbuckling, some axe, group shots. Oh, does it come with this pink tentacle thing? I was gonna say octopus, but maybe it's something different. Maybe it's a kraken. Giant squid. Oh, there's several shots of it. Ah, and it looks articulated. Am I missing something? Has that been shown in Mezco pictures before? Okay, there we go. There are 2 bodies. One has a peg leg. Many hands, 4 heads, and then, yeah, 2 Nautilus crew jackets, 2 hats, and 2 scarves with integrated posing wires. So yeah, like I said, Captain Nemo recently got out there, and I think it was Just Thunder was telling me that it was pretty sweet. So if you want some scurvy seamen to back up the captain, $145. When is it supposed to come out? July to September 2022. The Mattel Masters of the Universe Masterverse Revelation Trapjaw went up for pre-order this week, and even though this debuted back at PowerCon, you know what solicitations means. New, pretty promotional pics to pour over. Well, okay, it's Mattel. It doesn't always mean that. But this time around, woohoo, Trapjaw. Like Triclops, who is currently hitting Target shelves, there are options within the same package for classic style pre-time jump Trapjaw and post-time jump techno cult Trapjaw. The post-time jump is just a cloth tunic and a rubber overlay, but hey, it still works. Trapjaw is just one of those designs that is very hard to screw up in toy form. I mean, it's possible, but it's difficult. Some armor bits, the Eternian Jolly Rancher, I'm going for Jolly Ranger. No, I'm not, I'm going for Jolly Roger. The Eternian Jolly Roger weight belt, robot arm, metal lower face. The shots with the jaw opened wide though was messing with me. I guess I'm too used to seeing just nothing there. Not a smaller jaw behind the bigger jaw. That sends me spiraling into fan fiction where Cronus was self-conscious about his weak jaw, so he got that enhanced and thought, well, you know what the hell? How about we go with this? And can you give me the ability to zipline without using my arms? Oh, ring on the hat? Hook me up! $36 scheduled for the end of this month. I touched on the Sentinel fighting armor War Machine last week, but since then, I've found new pictures, which gives us an even better idea what this thing can do. There's several sets of hands along with the standard Sentinel base, which is not my favorite just because of the clamp. It's just pegged on. There's no screws to tighten it or anything, and the heavier the figure, the more it just falls out of it. The back weapons can be unplugged and plugged into, well, they show it plugging into the lower legs, and it's hard to see any other ports on the body. There are these things up here, but that's not too far from where the standard plug is. But the biggie I forgot to mention originally is the fold-out claw things from the forearms, and while I don't hate them, they don't seem very War Machine-y. It's almost like Sentinel decided to spruce it up even more, since the idea of Rhodes in an armor isn't as crazy as Deadpool or Wolverine or any of the other characters in this line. Oh, firepower isn't working? Give them the clamps. But I'm not gonna gripe about extra functionality, especially when they aren't really noticeable when they're folded back into the forearms. I mean, that makes it bulkier, but it doesn't look like Jaws of Life are about to spring. Still no solicitation yet, but that should be coming soon with all these pictures popping up. Speaking of clampy arms, Good Smile Company was set up at a show called Mecha Smile Impact recently, and they showed off their Moderoid Aliens power loader with Ripley model kit. Initial pictures sent me Googling, and I had no idea there were already 1/12 scale power loader model kits out there, one spanning all the way back to 1991. What the hell have I been doing for these many years? But the older ones are kind of expensive. This, coming out now, as a model kit, 1/12 scale, that sounds fun. Plus, if you passed on the NECA offerings, which are also a kick in the wallet at this point, boom, here you go. Ripley looks just articulated enough to move around with the power loader, but she's not going to give Spider-Man a run for his money. Just basic articulation. And really, it's the power loader that sells this. If you build this, you're going to put her in it, and then go from there. It is a bit pricey at $80, but hell, the last Mando kit in the silver Beskar was $60, and this is bigger and badder. But there was something in the background of the pictures of the power loader from the show, and I did some digging and found a video of the upcoming Moderoid RoboCop 2 Kane model kit. Good Smile did a 1/12 scale Ed209 model kit, and then they did a Hagane RoboCop that's not a model kit. It's like part die-cast, part plastic, all figure. But this, unless I've forgotten something, which I tend to do in the heat of a toy reveal moment, this is the first 1/12 scale Kane we've gotten, right? Power Loader is cool and up for pre-order right now, but I think people are going to be watching out for this. A while back, NECA sneak peeked their Universal Monsters X Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Leonardo as Hunchback, and it looked good. This week, there's pre-orders, and it looks even better. To get it out of the way right off the bat, storage shell. What the hell? And not just for the swords and a couple of knickknacks, there's a skull, there's a brain in a jar that is removable, some shovels, and of course a bone. I wish all turtle figures could do this, just to store away extras, but I can understand, you know, thinner bodies, or, you know, not as much shell articulation getting in the way. Here, the Hunchback itself allows for a lot of room. It's like a walk-in closet in there. The design work is, oh, it's mind-blowing here with the bugs crawling around and the stitches and the eye half closed, which kind of freaks me out. And just the textures, oh, the whole presentation is amazing. But I will never get used to facial hair on one of the boys. That just sends chills. There's a sense of disgust, which I guess works into the whole theme here. Yeah, I'm not griping. It's just, it's an odd thing. There's even fire effects for the torture swords to keep Frankenraff in line. You can just hear these pictures. Get back, monster! Get back! And then just like Raff's package that teased Michelangelo as the Mummy and then Bride of Frankenstein, which we're all assuming is April, on Ligor's package, there's 2 more silhouettes. Given the shapes, I'm guessing this is Shredder and another turtle. Which leaves Donatello. It's gotta be Donatello, right? $35, supposed to ship in May. But that's not all from the world of NECA's TMNT. Ernie Reyes Jr. also teased a digital render of Kino from Secret of the Ooze. Not my favorite movie, but wasn't Ernie Reyes Jr. in the Donatello costume in the first movie? Then there's Hasbro and some line called, Marvel Legends? You know I'm kidding. It's just been a while since we've seen anything from the boys. And even now, it's just a better look at the Iron Spider that debuted sometime last fall, was that? It was a live stream of some kind. And if the pictures look fancier than usual, D Amazing got to debut the first look at this. And along with pictures, there's also video. So head over to his channel and check that out. Pinvisible limbs, oh so shiny candy red with a dull gold to contrast. Waldo's, extra hands. Just a good looking figure. No wall crawling hands, which at this point I think should be standard with every spider figure, but I can almost forgive it here because of the extra arm sticking off to help him with climbing or fighting or just grabbing, whatever you want to do. What would you do with some Waldos? It'd be like, I'm never using my arms again. Hasbro Pulse said to be on the lookout for this soon. And they mentioned that since this year is the 20th anniversary of Marvel Legends, they will be posting more content on the 20th of every month. So, I guess see you in 30 days. Oh, and finally, just this morning, the Hasbro G.I.Joe team had a Fan First Friday, and they're kicking down the doors of 2022, guns blazing. Just they started with an announcement that initial figure reveals will now be the digital renders. That way they can get news to us faster instead of waiting for factory samples to come back or prints or pretty pictures. Here's the character, and then pre-orders and promotional will come afterwards at some point. Kind of like how the Marvel Legends team has been doing it. But there's also a downside to that. Showing us the digital renders as they imagine them, perfect world versions, it kind of sets us up for almost a I can't say disappointment. When the actual factory pieces come out, if there's some paint slop or some of the plastic colors don't match, then we're like, well, it doesn't match what you showed us. But at this point, we should also expect that because that's been happening even before digital renders, back in the days of beautifully painted prototypes and then going to the factory and not looking anything like that. In that aspect, they have gotten better over the years, but that's just me rambling. Get back to G.I. Joe. They started off with Xamot, and just look at this damn thing. 2 years ago, this would have been like techno bits and armor and gold and oddball colors and a helmet of some kind. Today, we get a very classic looking Zaymot, who kind of looks like a younger Tom Cruise. Can we clone him and make a G.I. Joe movie? Clone 2 of them because they also showed Tomax. And it was interesting to hear how they couldn't just do, you know, a couple of swaps because it's a invert. Stalker was up next and my collection is ready. My collection has been ready. Very nice, generic type body, which not saying that Stalker looks generic. It's Stalker, but if I buy multiples, can I use them as custom fodder? Swap out heads and stuff? I want to know what it looks like under that scarf. Then they hinted at a different style of packaging, something oversized, and you know me, if there's no pictures, I don't retain. But when Baroness showed up, I was like, oh, that's that retro carded line that popped up on Walmart a while back. I had speculated a few weeks ago that they weren't going to change much on the figures themselves, relying on the nostalgia tug to sell the figures. But they did change up the colors, the sheens, and the deco on the face. And that's the same for Lady J. They're just bringing a more vintage feel to it. When you first look at it and you think, I already have that. But the greens are slightly different, and then the hat. They're even bringing in some cartoon flavor. Check out Destro's eyebrows. It just changes the whole demeanor of the figure, even though it is essentially the same figure. They also changed up the colors here and there, but it's mostly those eyebrows for me. Yeah. But I think the biggie here is Gung Ho. Look how much they changed this up. Same base body, different hat, different vests, different gear on the legs. At least that's the obvious changes. If you look even closer, they gave him bare hands instead of the gloves. And then the face has been tweaked to change the mustache. He's still got a big old noggin, but I've gotten kind of used to that. Slather him in teal, and it's just a big old warm 80s hug. And then finally, a Viper 3-pack. Like Baroness, if you missed out on this the first time, here's another chance, and 2 to go with it. The colors have been slightly tweaked. I think the blues are dark, but then there's the officer who adds some reds, some golds, changes it up a bit. They also hinted at some kick-ass accessories in here, so I'm imagining a bigger box. Is it like the motorcycle releases or something? Again, no release info, just here's an idea of what's coming. See you in a month. And that's it for this week. Oh man. It's good to be sweating again. It's like, there's so much. If I missed anything, we'll swing back around next weekly. I've put Monday Fwoosh Live on hiatus for a while. And Mondays are hectic as is. I was just adding on top of that. But we'll figure something out after I settle down a bit. If you're wanting to see any of these pictures up close without me I'll be posting all of that along with links to pre-orders, more information on the Fwoosh front page Saturday at noon. And I know there's been a lot of leaks for G.I.Joe, Marvel Legends lately, but I say it all the time. Without pictures, without some kind of pre-order page, without some kind of listing, it doesn't lock into my brain. And I can't seem to focus. I've got a mental block when it comes to leaks. And I feel like if I start talking about that stuff, the weekly would be way longer than it usually is in non-holiday times. All I'm saying is that it's when pretty pictures present themselves that my heart gets all aflutter. And that's me explaining why I don't talk about leaks on here. But they're out there. Ooh. If you enjoyed this Fwoosh Weekly, comment, like, subscribe. Much love to the plus. If you're interested in seeing videos early or in a position to help out the channel, patreon.com. But wherever you may be watching this, I'll always catch you on the Fwoosh. This design should not work. Zurin R. It's Batman holding a bat in purple and red and yellow. The McFarlane seems to have a lot more stitching than this. Well, there's a little bit on the Mattel. The McFarlane also has lace-up boots instead of just reuse from the other half dozen DCUC Batmans. I'm gonna hit you with a bat. So me saying that out loud, I'm just realizing Batman has a bat. So silly. Maybe that's why I like it.